All right, thanks everyone for joining us here on this Sunday evening. We got head coach Guy Gadowsky as Penn State is in Wisconsin, ready to play 2 against the Badgers. If you have a question, please use the raise hand feature. I will ask you to unmute, and then you can ask your question. Connor Donahue.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. This past weekend, obviously, we saw both goalies play, and Liam got his first collegiate start. What did you make of his play, and do you know who's going to be starting tomorrow against Wisconsin?
Yeah, tomorrow Oscar will be starting against Wisconsin, and I thought Liam was excellent. I really did. I thought he played a great game, as did Oscar. I think one of the encouraging aspects of this past weekend for us, even though we lost twice, was I thought both goaltenders played extremely well.
Chris Hess.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Good, thank you.
All right, so my question for you is, given that you guys had lost, 12 players from last year's team, and it's a lot of different faces, how do you think a lot of those freshmen, let's say, for example, like Jared Westcott or Christian Sarlo, Chase McLean, how do you think they did in their first couple of games being thrown into the fire against a quality opponent like Minnesota, and how do you think they'll build off of it?
Yeah, you know what? Often it does take freshmen. You see them play their first collegiate game, and things look very quick. It looks like things are happening very, very quickly for them. And I actually was impressed with all our freshmen, every one of them, to a man, how comfortable they looked. I really was. I mean, that sometimes is a real difficult thing. It really takes a little bit of time to get used to the speed of the game, the speed of the thinking, not just the speed of the players, but the speed of how quick things happen. And I thought all new players looked very comfortable.
Jake Starr.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, last week you guys talked a lot about getting on the road for the first time, the excitement, the challenges that would present. Now that you kind of have been on the road for 3-4 nights now, can you talk to us a little bit about the challenges that presented and kind of just how has it been being together as a team together for the first time all season?
Yeah, I think everybody's really enjoying that aspect. Obviously, it was, Thursday night was the first time that I spoke to the team as a whole in the locker room, which was sort of cool. And it's been nice that obviously we have to sit in different rooms and spread out for meals, but at least everybody's around and can see each other, and that's been very nice. The differences are obviously all the little things of just getting your room keys. Obviously, meals are very, very different. Locker rooms are all spread out and still, so it's not exactly the same. But the fact that we're together is really nice. I got to tell you, I give full marks to Justin Rogers, our athletic trainer, Alex Dawes, who's our operations director, and also Ben Kogut, our equipment manager, for doing a great job keeping things as normal as possible, even though the protocols are much, much different.
Ben Jones.
Guy, you've talked over the years about winning games when you didn't feel happy about how you played and losing games where you felt good about how you played. Is there a little bit of, Thursday into Friday feeling better about some of the steps that you made there, or maybe what you saw in smaller parts rather than the final result?
Yeah, we felt better about our game on Friday. I think we looked a lot more like what a Penn State hockey team is we feel is supposed to look like. I think the first night was it was very new. There's a lot of aspects of our game that we didn't do very well, but I don't know how much. I mean, it was equally new for Minnesota, so we were in the same boat, but I certainly think they hit their game a lot quicker. They obviously have a lot more returning players, so maybe that had something to do with it. But from one day to the other, I think we competed a lot harder in certain areas, starting with faceoffs. We didn't sustain it throughout the whole game, but the way we came out was good. And just the fact that we played faster. It's very difficult to play how we want to play. It takes a little getting used to and a lot of commitment to do it on a consistent basis for a whole 60 minutes. So we were much better in that aspect the second night than the first.
Connor Donahue.
So during the second game of the series, Minnesota went 2 for 3 on the power play, and they had those 2 power play goals that were kind of the shifting moments in the game. What did you see out of the penalty kill unit during the first series, and what do you think needs to be improved on going forward?
Yeah, so I believe the first one they scored with 1 second remaining in the power play, and the second one they scored with 10 seconds remaining in the power play. So what we did see is for the first one, for 1:59, I think we did a pretty good job. Our clears weren't very good. We have to be a lot stronger on the puck to ice the puck on the power play. You can't just hope that it gets out. That's one thing. And there are a couple X and O's aspect of what we do that we had to improve. But it's sometimes, when you kill a 1:59 versus Minnesota on a big sheet, you know what? There's some pretty good things that happened, and so I do feel that we had positives. Obviously, they're very skilled. It's harder to kill a penalty, I think, on a big sheet than a small one. It's no excuse. We still gave up 2, but I think as a coaching staff, we're optimistic that we don't have to go back to the drawing board. We keep going. We'll get it. And there are some things to be happy about.
Kyle Canillo.
Hey, Guy, thanks so much for taking the time. Just curious, Kevin Wahl looked really impressive this weekend, scoring 2 goals. He's been great versus Minnesota in his career. Maybe talk a little bit about his development as a player. Did he take strides from year 1 to year 2? Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So I think when you say about Minnesota, I think all his goals have been scored against Minnesota. I think because his very first one was against Minnesota, and then he got the game winner, and then he got 2 here. So I think that might be the case.
I know 5 out of 8 points were against Minnesota in his career.
Okay. So yeah, and I mean, if you're going to do it against the team, that's a pretty good one to do it against. They're obviously excellent. His development individually, I love, because he's a guy that is pretty naturally gifted. He's actually a pretty strong, big player who has a lot of skill naturally. And when he played in the BC League, I think he led the team or the league in goals, certainly up until I think he got suspended twice, which might have hurt him. But before his suspensions, he was leading the entire league in goals. And so when he came to college hockey, sometimes the speed of it, I think he was a guy that the speed, he had to get used to the speed. But when he did, he really, what I love about him is he really persevered. Like he didn't pout. He just continued to work and continued to play faster and faster. And now you look at the weekend he had. I mean, our whole staff is extremely optimistic about him this season and in the future because of the strides he did take, specifically in how much faster he plays the game now.
Ben Jones.
Guy, how does your personal patience compare this year compared to last year in terms of when you're coaching these guys, developing them? You're going from obviously everything you had the last 2 years to something very different right now.
Yeah, I think there's 2 aspects of that. There's a lot of the patience, I think, is we warn each other. I'm probably not the most patient guy, so I guarantee I'm not the best one on the staff at this, but we have really good people on the staff that keep reminding us that, hey, this is all a little new in terms of the protocols and how we do things and how we communicate and everything like that. And we do have to be patient and flexible. So I'm trying. I'm certainly not the best one on staff, I'll tell you that, but we're trying. As far as my patience is in terms of getting the team going, I don't know yet. I mean, I think that you can be a little over patient to a fault. Like, I think there's some things we got to understand, but the expectations, there's so many classes that came here to Penn State hockey that worked extremely hard to raise the level of the culture and the level of our performance. And I don't want to let that slip just because we have a lot of guys. So I don't know if I'm going to have any more patience with what we do on the ice, but trying to have a lot more patience with all the protocols and new things that we have to do.
Bailey Johnson.
Hey, Guy. Wisconsin's been running 5 forwards on their power play. How much attention do you pay to that from a penalty killing perspective?
Yeah, we do. The problem with them is those 5 forwards are extremely skilled. So we understand that. And obviously it runs through number 8, Cole Caulfield. He'll have the puck more than anybody, and he does a great job. And we're aware of that. They're fantastic. And obviously we didn't have a lot of success this past weekend in Minnesota on our penalty kill. So we're taking it as a challenge for sure.
Connor Donahue.
Well, you kind of already just answered it because I was going to ask about Cole Caulfield and that talented Wisconsin forward group. How do you guys go? How are you guys planning to go? How do I word this? I can't word this. I'm so sorry. How are you guys planning to stop that extremely lethal Wisconsin offense?
Yeah, so our philosophy is not that we're necessarily going to do anything different with them. I mean, we feel that our game should be suited to play against excellent, skilled players every night. And if you look at this league specifically, I mean, you're really going to get that. Like, you're going to have to be able to do that night in, night out, whether it's a Caulfield or a Beecher, or you can go down the line of Sammy Walker, which we just had. You name it. There's several on every team in the Big Ten. So it's not that we are going to do anything different against him. We're certainly aware of him. We have to do a much better job as team defense. Specifically in Minnesota, we turn the puck over in the neutral zone way too much to have success against a very skilled team. And now we already know if we continue that against the forwards that Wisconsin has, I mean, we're going to pay, and we know that. So it's not that we're doing something individually different for Cole, but we are doing something to have our game be more successful against skilled hockey teams.
Ben Jones?
It seems like it would be unfair to say that this is a development-based year in terms of what you're trying to do, but how do you kind of balance sort of the expectations that you guys have set over the years with the inevitability that when you have a lot of new faces that have not played a lot, you're not getting to practice a lot, you haven't gotten to practice a lot? How do you kind of balance those two factors at the same time?
The honest answer is I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, I can tell you we talk about that a little bit as a staff, but I think right now we're not really content to say that. Like, we do know that there's going to be a learning process, but we want it to happen quickly. Like, I think maybe it's okay to say that the first weekend, et cetera, but our goal is still, this is Penn State. Like, I mean, we've got to figure it out, and we just have to do it in a hurry. So how do you balance it? I don't know yet. I guess we are hoping that we don't have to balance it for too long. I'm hoping. So the answer is I don't know. And I hope we won't have to answer that question too far down the road. Let's say that.
Jake Starr?
Coach, what explanation did you get from the officials on what happened on the hand pass review Friday night?
That was a weird one. So I don't know how much you could catch on the telecast, but when he announced it over the loudspeaker, I believe he said something completely different than he meant to say, because I think he said it was no goal. I thought that's what I heard, but maybe I'm wrong. And then he came over and said he did mess up what he was supposed to say. And I said, well, regardless of what you said, what's the call? And he said, oh, it's good. And I said, well, it was clearly a hand pass. And the explanation I got is that it was more of a deflection than a direction. I don't agree with that, but that's the explanation that I got.
Chris Vosters?
Hey, Coach. I joined about 5 minutes in, so I'm sorry if you already addressed this, but what do you know about your goalie situation going into your second series that you didn't know going into the opener against Minnesota?
Well, we didn't know really either one how they were going to handle starts. I mean, we've seen Oscar do extremely well in the past, so I guess we had an idea there. And I thought he played extremely well. I thought we weren't very good at all early, and I thought he really kept us in the game early. It could have been a rout early, and I thought he was excellent. So his overall performance I thought was very good. And really, I thought the same for Liam. I thought he looked really comfortable. Like, for his first start, I thought he looked really comfortable. So I think what we know now is I believe that for both guys, we certainly have been proven that we had optimism, that we would have confidence in them. And I think that's fair. That's what we learned. And then coming into this weekend, we are starting Oscar Monday night and no definitive plans after that.
Go ahead, Acacia.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I was just wondering, I also joined a little bit late, so I apologize if this has been asked. But what did you feel about the freshmen through the game, what they were producing, what they were putting out? What are your overall thoughts about that?
I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, sorry. What did you feel about the freshmen's development, what you saw from them, their first, series on the ice, obviously in difficult circumstances during this whole pandemic situation?
Yeah, actually, I was very impressed. I got a similar question earlier. I was really impressed with how comfortable they looked. It's actually quite difficult often. Your first college game, really it's quick, and you look and feel a little bit uncomfortable. And I actually thought, to a man, every single guy looked a lot more comfortable than I thought they would initially. And I mean, it's encouraging because like I said, often the first game is it's like a whirlwind. Like, things are just happening so quickly, and they all looked really comfortable, to a man. So I thought the freshmen, their initial, they certainly passed the first step. I think they looked very comfortable, and that makes us it justifies our optimism.
Chris Fosters.
Hey, Coach, one more for you. Wanted to ask you a little bit about Kenny Johnson specifically. Know his dad played at Wisconsin, of course, and saw that when I was reading his player bio, I saw that, he won some awards or was recognized in the BCHL for things like being the most inspirational player, fan favorite. And I was just wondering if you could either elaborate on that or just say kind of what kind of guy he is on the ice and in the locker room.
Yeah, well, he actually, and you'll see him Monday night. And he's a great guy. Like, he gets it. He's a very likable guy. He's one of those, you look at him, he's a very big, imposing, and I'm sure if he wants to, he could be quite intimidating guy, but he gives you the opposite feel. He makes you feel very comfortable. He's a bit of a teddy bear as a personal guy. I'm sure he's not that way on the ice, but he's that kind of guy. He makes you feel pretty good. And on the ice, he's a big, strong guy that gives the team confidence. He's certainly willing to block shots and play in traffic. But you're right about the most inspirational. And that was after he got traded there. So he wasn't with the team that long, and he still won that award. I think that's an incredible accolade for someone to be able to come into a team late and make such an impact that you get an award like that is pretty impressive.
Andrew Destin.
Guy, how would you rate the team's offensive performance in those first two games? And do you have any intentions of changing up the lines at all in this series against Wisconsin?
Yeah, I wouldn't rate us high at all. It's not what Penn State is used to, and not only the results, but certainly how we went about our business. I thought we were better the second night for sure. We generated more opportunities. But no, we weren't. Offensively, we didn't deserve high marks at all. I would like to see that change. I don't think it's a line combination synergy thing. You will see a couple new forwards in the lineup that we haven't seen before, specifically on Monday night. Xander Lampa, Bobby Hampton will be in. But I don't think it's not a synergy thing. I think it's a mentality thing. Possibly, you could talk about it's our first games, etc. But we certainly, for us to be successful, we're going to have to generate a whole lot more than we were able to the first two games.
Guy, appreciate the time and good luck against Wisconsin.
Hey, thanks a lot, everybody. It's great to see you. Thank you very much.